The Hunter Valley has been in a state of constant evolution and geological formation for millions of years, and people have lived with the Hunter Valley and the river for many tens of thousands of years. The Hunter Valley is the land of the Gringai, Jiwagul, Gundagal, Talong, Marawan and Awabakal clans of the Wannerua tribe. These people lived with the valley for over 60,000 years, yet after only 200 years of colonial settlement, we have fundamentally altered ancient geological, social and biological compositions to the detriment of the ecology of the valley. Millions of years ago, the area that is now the Hunter Valley formed the northern edge of a great inland sea. Through eons of erosion, the sea filled with silt and sand to form a giant wetland. Countless generations of plant and animal life decomposed to form a thick layer of organic matter. Over millions of years, the organic matter of the wetlands was transformed into rock, shale, and coal. As the tectonic forces crumpled the crust into synclines and anticlines, the forces of wind and rain wore down the upper layers. After millions of years of dormancy, the veins of coal were revealed. The landline would ring twice and a half, the signal to go inside. People who worked on the land put hankies over their faces and kept working outside. I would put my shirt over my mouth, and Dad would send me up the hill to go and wait with a camera until the blasts shook the earth and blooms of ground and nitrous dioxide filled the sky. Nitrous dioxide is essentially laughing gas, but long-term exposure in such concentrations is known to increase the risk of illnesses of the nervous system, such as Parkinson's disease. On windy days, the dust could be so thick that you lost the horizon. It would hang, suspended in the atmosphere, salt and pepper and amber, rock and carbon and sulfite. These days, if you slept with the window open, you could wake with grey-black dust on your sheets. Every coal mine will have a land acquisition zone, an environmental buffer of sorts. The mining company will buy out the previous landholders who are deemed to be significantly impacted by the mining operations. This buyout occurs sometimes at fair prices, sometimes ludicrously generous, other times unfairly cheap. In this way, entire communities, businesses and social structures can be dismantled and dispersed. The more people who are forced to leave, the less there are left behind to fight ever-expanding mining operations. We always said that the rain has started to boycott the valley. My great-grandparents, grandparents and parents all kept records of the rainfall in our area and neighbouring regions. While we acknowledge that the entire country is in a state of drought, there have been studies released that give evidence of rain systems parting and missing areas of land that have significant open-cut coal mine voids and power stations. Heat island effect and ultrafine particles emitted from coal-fired power stations dramatically influence rainfall distribution on both local and regional scales, further exacerbating drought conditions. As humans reshape the landscape, we forget what was there before. Ecologists call this forgetting the shifting baseline syndrome. Our newly shaped and mined landscapes become the new reality. Admiring one landscape and its biological entanglements often entails forgetting many others. Forgetting, in itself, remakes landscapes, as we privilege some assemblages over others. Yet ghosts remind us. Ghosts point to our forgetting, showing us how living landscapes are imbued with earlier tracks and traces. Written in the Journal of Early European Settler J.D. Lang, lies evidence of such a forgotten landscape, as he writes about a place known as Narrogin to the Wanneroo people and as Phoenix Park to our colonial maps. He writes, "Phoenix Park is without exception the finest piece of land, both for quality of soil and beauty of scenery and situation I have ever seen. Being entirely of an alluvial formation and bounded on all sides by broad and deep rivers, the bank of which are ornamented with a natural growth of the most beautiful shrubbery, while over its whole extent patches of rich grassy plain alternate with lumps of trees or narrow beltings of forest, as if the whole had been tastefully laid out for a nobleman's park." The river, at this point, can be regarded as a litmus test for the health of all that falls within its catchment. The mouth of the river cannot be thought of as discrete. It must be considered in terms of its entanglement with the whole valley. In order to make real change here, we must see a systematic shift to our way of being in the Hunter Valley. Systematic and environmental forces will play a greater role in changing the quality of space here than any object of architecture could. The position of the site is treated in relation to its place within the whole valley. The valley, the river, and the city can achieve a state of equilibrium, of perpetual motion and value returns that transcend human economics. A pursuit for economic prosperity has seen us exploit the valley, to scrape away the landscape and rip the coal from its surrounding earth. We need to achieve a balance, so that coal as an element does not sit in isolation as the object of our pursuit. We need to reimagine a way of being in the valley, where coal, water, the chemical composition of the atmosphere, human civilization, and the health of all flora and fauna are considered in relative terms. We need to reimagine the valley as an interconnected system, an entangled multiplicity of living elements.